Sawadee krap, it's Thursday, June 27th. I'm JP Mestanza, and this is Phuket Extra, brought to you by PSD Windows and Doors. Today we got contaminated veggies, Pattaya, prostitution, and geckos in ears. But let's start with our top story. Airbnb really blew the lid on Thai laws governing what constitutes a hotel in Thailand, and now operators of illegal hotels are being urged to take advantage of the nationwide order by Premier Prayut Chan-o-cha to register with local authorities. The order, which was signed on June 12th by the PM, it also waives any prosecution for operations illegal if the owner registers with local authorities. It's an amnesty program and goes into effect until August 18, 2021, temporarily suspending the enforcement of town planning and local building control regulations on certain buildings that are used for hotel business operations. The whole thing became an issue a few years ago when Airbnb entered Thailand, since the country has a law stipulating that unless the building is registered as a hotel, beholden to several stipulations required of a normal hotel like fire safety, etc., no rooms within a building can be rented out as a hotel, i.e. charged for daily room rates, etc. As legal firm Dunsing Kippen pointed out in an article in the Phuket News 3 years ago, the government already made it easier for property owners, especially condo owners, to obtain a hotel license under a special regulation in the amended Building Control Act. Essentially, there was already an amnesty 3 years ago, and now there's another new amnesty. There's so much more to this story, so visit thephuketnews.com for the rest. Just weeks after declaring that Pattaya Walking Street, Thailand's most famous red light district, was, quote, prostitution free, the police chief who led that inspection is being transferred along with his deputies after not only prostitution was uncovered, but one of them was underage. Channel 7 reported that Pattaya Police Chief Police Colonel Bongpang Wongmani Det and 4 other high-ranking deputies, they were all transferred for allowing prostitution to continue unabated in Pattaya. The transfers came after the police chief of the Chonburi province led a raid of one bar, the Coming Bar, on Soi 6, which uncovered prostitution and found that one of the sex workers was also 17 years old. The bar has now been shut down for 5 years, and the foreign owners, which includes a consortium of Thai, Taiwanese, and Chinese nationals, they're being deported and blacklisted from re-entering Thailand. Police Colonel Pongpang was the same man who earlier this month led a, quote, inspection of the famous Pattaya Walking Street, declaring it prostitution free, for which he and the rest of Pattaya police were heavily criticized and ridiculed on social media. But his predecessor, Police Colonel Apichai Kropech, had done the same exact thing just last year. Imagine going to the doctor for an earache only to find that a gecko had made a nice home for itself inside your head. That's what our next story is about. It was the first full day on the job for newbie physician Varanya Nyangtavi when her last patient of the day walked in complaining about an earache, but as she and a nurse began looking inside the patient's ear, they realized that a live gecko was inside. Dr. Varanya, who recounted the story on social media, which then subsequently blew up online, she says that the gecko was squirming between the tweezers and it looked like the gecko had been inside the patient's ear for 2 days. She took the patient to see a specialist on Tuesday as a precaution, who confirmed that the entire gecko was now out of the ear. How's that for a crazy first day on the job? Phuket Extra will be right back after this. Welcome back to Phuket Extra. The Thailand Pesticide Alert Network, known as Thaipan, they've conducted their annual survey of vegetables and fruits in markets nationwide and found that 41% of their small sample size were found to have, quote, high toxic contamination, although that's an improvement on last year's findings. This year's annual survey by Thaipan looked at just 286 samples of popular veggies and fruits from both retail supermarkets to your local wet market in provinces across Thailand, including the capital of Bangkok, Chiang Mai in the north, Khon Kaen in the northeast, and Songkhla in the south, among other provinces. And it took those samples and flew them halfway across the world to a lab in the United Kingdom for testing. The results of the testing, which saw the small samples flown out of the country for testing, it found that 41% of them had high toxic contamination, which the highest contaminated items being Chinese mustard greens, kale, hot basil, parsley, chili, cauliflower, tangerines, rose apples, guavas, and grapes. 33% of imported fruit was found to have unsafe contamination versus 48% of local fruit. Still, this year's findings of 41% is down from last year's findings, which found 46% of samples to be harmfully contaminated. Phuket joins the top 10 destinations in the U.S. news list of world's best places to visit. The annual rankings, which were released yesterday, it combines editor, traveler, and expert feedback to determine the most remarkable destinations around the world. Paris topped the list of the best place to visit in the world, followed by New Zealand's South Island, Rome in third, Tahiti fourth, and London in fifth. Phuket placed 8th on the list, notably the highest placed Asian destination ahead of Barcelona and New York City. The top 30 only feature 2 Asian destinations, including Phuket and the Maldives. And that's it for Phuket Extra, brought to you by PSD Windows and Doors. For safe, secure, and soundproof windows, visit pvcphuket.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, click that subscribe button to check out all our future videos. If you're watching us on Facebook, give us a like on the Phuket News page. From all of us here at the Phuket News Center, thank you for watching, and until tomorrow, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000 and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks-and-mortar investment offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.